Hi guys, this is Jordan with Motion Array. As video editors, we're constantly trying to get better at what we do. Sometimes that looks like getting faster and more efficient, and at other times it means separating ourselves from the crowd by making our videos stand out. And today, we're going to be focusing on that second one. We're going to look at 3 in-camera transitions that you can use to make your videos stand out. In theory, these transitions should work with absolutely zero editing. Just put your clips side by side and the transition should work. In theory. But it can be hard to grasp these transitions without seeing them for yourself. So, let's take a look. The goal of these transitions is to make a seamless flow from one clip to another. The idea is to make it look like your camera actually never stopped recording, and that you transported to a new location instantly. Your audience knows that this can't actually be possible, but they just saw it happen in front of them. So it's like a little bit of a magic trick for your video. So, let's get started with the first one, the invisible cut. This kind of a transition has been used a lot throughout film's history, but you might remember it from a more recent film called Birdman. In this film, the creators used this particular transition to hide a lot of their cuts, giving the illusion that the entire film was done in one shot. While this can take a few different forms, one of the most versatile ways to use this transition is by making the entire frame completely pitch black. The idea is that if the end of your shot is completely black and the beginning of your next shot is completely black, there's no way to tell where the cut was made between them. One of the most common ways that this has been done on platforms where breaking the fourth wall isn't a big concern, like YouTube videos for example, is by simply covering the lens with your hands. That way whenever you open up your hands in a new location, it'll have made a completely seamless transition. It really helps that the 2 different locations you're transitioning from and to are noticeably different. Differences like inside versus outside, very different color, clothing, lighting, and architecture, and even the person that's in the shot can really help to sell this. If your effect isn't coming across quite the right way, you can help give it a little bit of a push by keyframing your shot to get darker for the last few frames as the object is blocking the lens. This can help you to get it to perfect black without there being a jarring cut when your clip ends. You don't have to cover the lens with your hands though. The same effect has been achieved by simply entering a dark room, or getting so close to a subject that they completely block the light from entering the frame. There's lots of different options, so try to get creative and make some invisible cuts. Number 2, the whip pan. This one can add a lot of that wow factor to your video without a lot of work. All you need is a little bit of pre-planning. Take a shot that you want to start with, and when you want the scene to move on to the next shot, whip the camera in any direction. Up, down, left, right, really any direction. You just need to make sure of 2 things. One is that the next shot follows the same trajectory as the first. So if you whipped out to the right in your last shot, you need to whip in from the left in your following shot. And the second is that you need to have a decent amount of motion blur. This needs speed and a low enough shutter speed. Try to keep it around 50 to 60. Now if we bring it into Premiere and cut where each of the whips happen, we can see that this is what we have. It's actually pretty close off the bat, but we can make it a little bit better. Take the 2 clips and overlap them slightly. Take the first clip and keyframe it to fade out, and at the same time, keyframe the second shot to fade in. It helps to make sure that this happens when the footage is most blurry. If your footage isn't blurry enough, you can actually add this in post by keyframing a directional blur near the end of your shot. The benefit of this transition is that it's really dynamic and adds a lot of energy to your shot. This can make it a really great choice if your video is experiencing an upbeat moment. And finally, number 3, crossing the frame. This one is the most work in editing, but it's still incredibly simple. Even without completely blocking the lens, you can create some pretty interesting transitions using elements inside of your shot, effectively creating your own wipe transition. It doesn't have to completely cover the frame like in the invisible shot, as long as your object goes from edge to edge on at least one axis. It also helps the closer it is to your camera, which will cause the crossing of frame to happen faster, and it'll take less of your audience's attention away from your main subject. Take your clip into Premiere and now bring it to the second layer. Now trim it down to the part that you want to have included, and end when the person or object in front of your lens finally exits the frame. Now take the clip that you want to transition into and place it on the first layer, beneath the first clip, so that they overlap a little bit. Now take your pen tool and mask a very basic shape over the edge of the object in front of your camera. Keyframe it to follow the object until it's off camera. And there you go, you've created your own custom wipe transition, making it look like the camera never stopped recording. In all of these examples, it's important to remember to have something different about the new scene that you're transitioning into. This will help to signal to the audience that you've actually entered a new stage in your video. And guys, that's it. Those are 3 in-camera transitions you can use to spice up your video. If you guys like this video, let us know. And if there's somebody you know that could benefit from this information, feel free to share this video with them too. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.